Out Free Library, and we're going to do some stories today about the kind of weather we've been having lately, which is snowy. And we're going to use those letters in a few minutes to do a little song. But first, we're going to hear our very first story, and it is called Missing Mittens. Because if you go out in snowy weather, it's good to have some mittens, isn't it? And it looks like this story. Where do you think this takes place? On the cover, we see a man who's all dressed up in his winter clothes. We also see a chicken and a cow. What else we have here? Clip clop, a horse goes neigh. And over here, if you can see, it's a little goat. So let's see what all these characters are about. And our story is called Missing Mittens. It's written by Stuart J. Murphy, illustrated by G. Brian Karras, and it's published by HarperCollins. Now, before we begin our story, I think we decided it takes place in a farm, and these are the buildings that are going to be involved. This is the house where the farmer lives, and this is a barn where maybe there are cows or horses or chickens. There's a smaller one. That might be where the chickens live, because that's a smaller building. And yet there's another building. So let's see what happens as our farmer visits each of the animals. Farmer Bill was shivering. Snow was in the air. He looked out on the stormy day, and he wondered what to wear. What would you wear on a day like that? If there's snow out and it's cold, I bet you know what to wear, right? Let's see what he's going to do. Oh, long underwear, said Bill. That's a good idea. And my brand new coat. I'll get my hat and scarf and earmuffs, but I'm not ready yet. Sounds like a good start, right? A coat, long underwear, earmuffs. What else? Where are my two mittens? Only one is there. Just one odd mitten by itself? One mitten is not a pair. No, he's got one. That's an odd number. He needs two, right? He needs a pair, an even number. Bill went out to milk his cow, as cold as she could be. They looked for her 4 mittens, but she had only 3. She's got her mittens on her udder. But she's only got 3, and she needs 4. Only 3 odd mittens. They couldn't find one more. Any cow needs more than 3. She needs an even number, 4. Again, she has an odd number, 1, 2, 3, whereas 4 would be an even number. Next were his 3 chickens. They were huddled in their pen. They wished they had 6 mittens, 2 mittens for each hen. Look at that. Each mitten has 1 on one foot, but none for the other foot. But if you look closely, you might see some hidden mittens there. I think I see some. Let's see if we could find them. Bill looked and he found 5 mittens, but they really needed 6. Without an even number, one hen is in a fix. So, 2 mittens on 2 of the chickens, but one hen just has 1 mitten. Again, we've got an even number would be 6, but we only have 5. We have an odd number of mittens. Bill went to see the horses. Both were shaking in their stall. Each needed 4 warm mittens. That's 8 mittens in all, right? If each horse needs 4 mittens, and there's 2 horses, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But they didn't have 8. There were only 7. One horse would catch a chill. 7 mittens for 8 hooves? How very odd, said Bill. And that is an odd number, 7. An even number would be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we don't have 8. Oh, where were those missing mittens? How could they be found? A mitten thief has been here. Bill scratched his head and frowned. I wonder who the mitten thief is. Now, do you notice we've been to all those buildings? We started at the red building after he came out of his house. Then we went to the chickens building, see the little footprints? And we went over to where the horses were in the green building. We must get back our mittens. Hey, what is that goat doing? There's no time for breakfast. There's a goat over here. He's been following them around, and it looks like he is chewing. What is he chewing? Uh-oh, I think we found the mittens. I think so. Well, they got them back. Now every hand and foot and hoof was snug and toasty warm, and everything was fine again. Hooray! They've all got their mittens back there. They're all lined up. Everything was fine again until the next big storm. There's our goat. Do you see what our goat is chewing now? Do you know what that is? Do you remember? Notice the colors. Green and yellow checks. Did you remember the coat that our farmer Bill was wearing? I think the goat has his coat. Oh no. You better get that back before the next storm. So that's the story of missing mittens. We found the mittens, but I don't know what we're going to do about that coat. Okay, let's hear another quick story. Froggy Gets Dressed, by Jonathan London and illustrated by Frank Remkevich, and this is published by Viking. Froggy Gets Dressed. Oh, he looks so happy to be out there in the snow, doesn't he? Is that what you do when you're out in the snow? Are you all happy? Well, it was cold when Froggy woke up. He looked out the window and said, "Snow, snow," he sang. "I want to go play in the snow." Oh, he's so excited. Look at those snowflakes coming down. "Go back to sleep, Froggy," said his mother. "Don't you know frogs are supposed to sleep all winter and wake up when the snow melts?" Did you know that? Frogs sleep in the winter. That's why you don't see them hopping around in the snow. But Froggy said, "No, no," cried Froggy. "I'm awake, I'm awake. I want to go out and play in the snow." He sounds like he's determined. So Froggy put on his socks, zip. He put on his boots, zip. He put on his hat, zat. Tied on his scarf, zwit. Tugged on his mittens, zump. And he flopped outside into the snow, flop, flop, flop. Well, it wasn't long before his mother called. "Froggy," called his mother. "What?" said Froggy. "Did you forget to put something on?" Froggy looked down. "Oops, I forgot to put on my pants." He flopped back into the house, flop, flop, flop. He tugged off his mittens, he untied his scarf, he took off his hat, he pulled off his boots, he left his socks on, and he slipped on his pants, zip. And then he pulled on his boots, zip. He put on his hat, zat. He tied on his scarf, zwit. Tugged on his mittens, zum. And he flopped back outside into the snow, flop, flop, flop. "Froggy," called his mother. "What?" said Froggy. "Did you forget to put something on?" Froggy looked down. "Oops," he cried. "I forgot to put on my shirt." "And your coat," said his mother. Wouldn't you think he'd be cold? Oh. He flopped back into the house, flop, flop, flop. He tugged off his mittens, he untied his scarf, he took off his hat, he left his pants, boots, and socks on, and he buttoned up his shirt, zut, zut, zut. And then he snapped on his coat, snap. He put on his hat, zat. He tied on his scarf, zwit. Tugged on his mittens, zum. And he flopped back outside into the snow, flop, flop, flop. Oh, here we go again. "Froggy," called his mother. "What?" said Froggy. "Did you forget to put something on?" Well, Froggy looked down. He had on his mittens, he had his scarf, he had his coat, his shirt, his pants, his boots, his socks. He reached up. He even had his hat on his head. What could be missing, wondered Froggy. "Your underwear," said his mother. Oh, and his mother laughed, and Froggy said, "Oops," looking more red in the face than green. He's a little embarrassed now. Oh, here we go again. Now he forgets his underwear. So he flops back into the house, flop, flop, flop. He tugged off his mittens, he untied his scarf, he unsnapped his coat, he unbuttoned his shirt, he unzipped his pants, he pulled off his boots, he took off his socks, he left his hat on, and he slipped on his long johns with a zap of elastic. Nice long red underwear. And then he put on one sock, zip. He pulled on one boot, zup. He tugged on one mitten, zum. And he started to tug on the other mitten, but he just let it drop to the floor. I'm too tired, said Froggy. All that work. And so Froggy crawled back into bed and went back to sleep. Good night, Froggy. And it looks like Froggy's asleep. That's the story of Froggy Gets Dressed. Did he ever get to play in that snow? I don't think so. He kept forgetting one thing after another. Well, speaking of snow, I think it's time we do a song with our words there up here, our letters. And if you go to play in the snow, of course, you need mittens to keep your hands warm, and you need lots of other things to wear too, right? But our song is about wearing mittens, and the song we're going to sing goes to the tune of a song called Bingo. Maybe some of you know that song. Do you know that one? It starts, I'll just sing a little bit to remind you. It goes, there was a farmer, had a dog, and Bingo was his name-o. And then we spell out the name Bingo. B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O. Bingo was his name-o. And the next time we sing it, instead of saying B-I-N-G-O, in place of the B, we're going to clap. And then we just say I-N-G-O. So we're going to do the same thing with this song, this one about snowy. And the words of it are, it's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. And then we're going to spell it out. Ready? S-N-O-W-Y. So it goes S-N-O-W-Y. And snowy is the weather. Now, the second time we sing our song, I'll give you a quick demonstration. We're going to hide one of the first letter. And if you don't see it, if you see a snowflake, then you don't say that letter. You don't say the S. You're going to clap in place of the letter, okay? When you see a snowflake, you'll clap in place of the letter. So, just quickly, will go like this. It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. N-O-W-Y, 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 and snowy is the weather. And the next time we sing, we're going to hide the N and have another snowflake, so we'll have to clap 2 times. And then when we hide the O, we'll clap 3 times, and on until we get through the whole song. Okay, that's a lot of clapping, so we better get started. Ready? Okay, it's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. Ready? It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. S-N-O-W-Y, 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 and snowy is the weather. It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. N-O-W-Y, 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 and snowy is the weather. It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. 2 times. O-W-Y, 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 and snowy is the weather. It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. W-Y, 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 and snowy is the weather. It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. Y, 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 and snowy is the weather. It's mitten time when it gets cold, and snowy is the weather. And snowy is the weather. Did you get that? Was that fun? Yeah, now we have lots of pretty snowflakes behind us too. Okay, quick story, one more. Can't talk about mittens without reading about those 3 little kittens. These are kind of special little kittens, aren't they? Did you ever see a kitten that color? What color is that kitten? Pink. It's a pink kitten. Did you ever see a kitten this color? What color is this one? Blue? I never saw a blue kitten. What about this guy? He's orange. Have you seen orange kittens? I have seen orange kittens. Yes, I have, but not pink or blue. Okay, this is called The 3 Little Kittens. And let's find our title page in our book. And it's right here. And it tells us that this is written by Lorianne Ciomades, and it's published by Boyd's Mills Press, which is right here in Pennsylvania, Boyd's Mills Press. That's exciting. And here we see some mice carrying a pie. Where'd they get that pie? Let's find out. Here's our 3 little kittens. The 3 little kittens, they lost their mittens. Oh dear. And they began to cry. Oh, oh, poor kittens. Where are those mittens? They said, "Oh, mother dear, we sadly fear our mittens we have lost." And talk about strange colors for cats. What color is Mama Cat? Wow, she's purple. Have you ever seen a purple cat? Look at our 2 little mice. They're looking at what she's carrying. What? Lost your mittens, you naughty kittens? Well, then you shall have no pie. She made the pie, but they can't have it if they lost their mittens. Who's getting that pie? She better watch what the mice are doing. Well, our 3 little kittens, they looked until they found their mittens. Hooray! And they began to cry, "Mother dear, see here, our mittens we have found." Oh, everybody's happy. They got their mittens. What? You found your mittens? Oh, well then you're good little kittens. But now where, oh where is my pie? She left the pie on top of the counter, but where's the pie? You see it hiding down there? And we know who put it there, don't we? Those 2 little mice. Oh, looks like everybody's getting some pie in the end. The mice have some, the cats have some, and the little kittens, everybody gets pie. And that's the story of the 3 little kittens. Well, they're looking for mittens. If you'd like to find some mittens, we're going to make some mittens. We're just going to take a plain piece of paper and start by folding it in half. Okay. Now, do we need a pattern for mittens? No, you've got a pattern. You're your very own pattern. A mitten has a place for a thumb, and then all the other 4 fingers go together, right? And you put them down, and that's your pattern. Now, if we were doing a glove, it would be different. If we were doing a glove, instead of having a thumb place and all the fingers together, we'd have a thumb place and a place for each finger separately, right? Gloves have places for each finger. But we're doing mittens. So what you do is, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it here, but you put your hand down like a mitten with the fingers closed. I'm holding a pen. It doesn't work. And your thumb out. And if you can do it, maybe somebody can help you. And trace around your hand. Okay, so I'm going to do that here on the table in front of me because it's hard to do holding it up. So let me trace around my hand. Okay, now let me tell you something. When you trace around, it's a good idea to trace it a little bigger than your hand, or if you don't trace it bigger, when you cut it out, cut on the outside of your line so that you have room, because we're going to be making 2 mittens since we have the paper folded. So the next thing you'll do, and I did trace a little bigger on mine, maybe I'll cut a little bigger anyway. And we cut them out, and let's see if I can get this cut out just to give you an idea. I think you know what to do here. We cut out our mitten all the way around. Whoop. And like I say, if you want to make it a little bigger when you're cutting it, just cut on the outside of your line, okay? So that you have a little more room if you decide to glue your mittens together, because now we have 2 mittens. 1, 2. Let me make sure I get 2. Yep, we got 2, yay. So that's a pair, right? An even pair. Like in our story about the missing mitten, we have 2 mittens. But these 2 are going to make 1 because we got to stick them together, and then we'll be able to put them on and wear them. Now I'm not going to do that with this one. You can either get glue. If you do glue, just use a little on the edge. You don't want it too, or you won't be able to fit your hand back in there. That's why I said to cut it a little bit bigger too. So we're going to glue it together, or you could use tape. I made one before, and I used tape on mine, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's still maybe a little, well no, I can fit my hand in there. That's a big mitten. I have big paws. So there's our mitten, and you can see some of the tape sticking up. I just kind of taped it all around in different parts. That actually gives you a little more room on the inside too, because you don't have the glue taking up space. But any way you want to do it, and then decorate it. And if you're like me and you can't make up your mind what color you want to use or what design you want to use, just use a little of everything. I started out almost making a rainbow, but not quite, because I only have 4 colors. I have purple, blue, green, and yellow. And then I decided to make some polka dots. So I made polka dots. And then I decided maybe I'll do some little like stars or snowflakes or whatever you want to call those little things. And then on the back, I still decided to do something different. So I drew a cat, a little kitten with mittens, and then just made some colored stripes. Any way you want to color, there's no wrong way or right way. If you like to make it all one color, if you want to make it lots of colors, lots of designs, you do whatever you want because it's your mitten, right? Yes, it is. And then you can put it on and maybe make up a little song about mittens or kittens or whatever. And you know what? If you really get into making mittens, you might want to do what I did. I got a little carried away, and my friend Benji here, I saw his little paws didn't have any mittens on. I said, Benji, it's winter, you should have mittens. So I said, Benji, what color is your favorite color? And Benji said, let me see. I like red. So we started color red. He said, but you know, I like blue too. So I said, okay, then we'll do red and we'll do blue. And he said, oh, you know, I'm really fond of green. So I said, okay, we'll do one green. And he said, oh, maybe my favorite color is purple. So since he couldn't make up his mind, we made his mittens 4 different colors. Now, if you come up with another color, Benji, you're out of luck because we ran out, unless we make him some more mittens. But we just made his to fit his little paw, and I just taped them together and colored them in, and now Benji has mittens, right? Yes. Are you happy with your mittens? Yes. What do you do when you're happy? Yay! Okay, Benji. You say goodbye to everybody? Bye. Maybe we'll see you next time, okay? Enjoy your mittens. Bye. See ya.